I was standing in what was supposed to be my wedding reception venue, staring at a woman I'd never seen before, when she said the words that made my entire world tilt sideways. "I'm sorry, but we have no record of your booking. According to our system, this reservation was canceled 3 weeks ago." My wedding was in 6 hours. 6 hours. And behind me, I could hear my mother-in-law's voice, sweet as poisoned honey, saying, "Oh no, sweetheart, how could this have happened? I'm going to tell you exactly how she did it, why she did it, and what I did when I found out the truth. Trust me, you'll want to hear how this ends." My name is Rachel, and 2 years ago, I thought I'd found my person. His name was Marcus, and he was everything I'd ever wanted. Kind, funny, supportive, ambitious. We met at a friend's birthday party, and I swear, the moment our eyes met across that crowded room, something just clicked. We talked until 3 in the morning that night, sitting on the balcony while everyone else danced inside. 6 months later, he proposed on the same balcony, in the same spot where we'd had our first real conversation. I should have known it was too perfect. Because there was one complication I'd underestimated: his mother, Patricia. At first, she seemed lovely, welcoming, warm, always asking me about my work and my family. She'd invite me to lunch, just the two of us, and we'd talk for hours. She told me stories about Marcus as a little boy, showed me photo albums, made me feel like I was already part of the family. I genuinely thought I'd won the mother-in-law lottery. Marcus was an only child, and Patricia had been widowed for 5 years. I felt honored that she was welcoming me so openly into their tight-knit little world. But then we got engaged, and something shifted. It was subtle at first. Little comments that I brushed off. "Oh, you're wearing that to dinner?" Marcus has always preferred women with longer hair. His father would have wanted a traditional ceremony. I told myself she was just adjusting, that it was hard for her to share her son. Marcus assured me she'd come around, that she was just protective because it had been the two of them for so long. The wedding planning started, and that's when the real Patricia emerged. She questioned every single decision I made. The venue was too modern. The flowers were too simple. My dress was too revealing, even though it had a modest neckline and 3/4 sleeves. She started showing up at vendor meetings uninvited, contradicting choices Marcus and I had already agreed on. When I picked a beautiful blush pink for the bridesmaids' dresses, she told the bridal shop, without asking me, to order them in navy blue instead. I only found out when my best friend called me, confused about the color change. I confronted Patricia gently. I tried to set boundaries while still being respectful. "I appreciate your input, but Marcus and I would like to make these decisions together." She smiled, nodded, apologized, said she just wanted to help, that she was getting carried away because she was so excited. I believed her. God, I actually believed her. But that wasn't even the worst part. 3 weeks before the wedding, I started noticing weird things. The florist called to confirm a cancellation I never made. The photographer sent a confused email saying she'd received a request to change our package to something much smaller and cheaper. Each time, I called immediately, panicking, fixing the mistake. The vendors were apologetic, confused about the mix-ups. It was always the same story. Someone had called or emailed from my contact information, making changes. I checked my email. Nothing. I checked my phone logs. Nothing. I was going insane, thinking I was losing my mind or that someone had hacked my accounts. Marcus thought I was just stressed, that wedding planning was getting to me. "Babe, you're working yourself up," he'd say, rubbing my shoulders. "Everything's going to be perfect." I wish I'd trusted my gut right then. Because 2 days before the wedding, my maid of honor, Jessica, pulled me aside after the rehearsal dinner. "Rachel," she said, her voice low and urgent, "I need to tell you something, and you're going to be pissed at me for not saying it sooner. Last week, I was at that coffee shop near your future in-laws' place, and I saw Patricia. She was on her phone, and I swear to God, I heard her say your name. She was talking about canceling the venue confirmation and making sure the deposit doesn't go through. I thought I was hearing things, so I didn't say anything, but after all these weird mix-ups, my blood went cold. I stood there in my rehearsal dinner dress, champagne glass frozen halfway to my lips as the truth crashed over me like ice water. She'd done it. All of it. My mother-in-law had been systematically sabotaging my wedding. Stay with me. because what happened next is the part that still keeps me up at night. The morning of my wedding, I woke up at 5 a.m. with a terrible feeling. I don't know what possessed me, but I started calling vendors, one by one. Florist, photographer, DJ, caterer, and then the venue. That's when my perfect day shattered into a million pieces. The venue manager, clearly uncomfortable, explained that their records showed a cancellation made 3 weeks prior. The person who called had all my information: birth date, booking confirmation number, everything. I asked them to pull the phone records. It took 20 minutes that felt like 20 years. The call came from a local number, she finally said. She read it out loud. I knew that number. It was burned into my phone. It was Patricia's cell. I'm not proud of what I did next, but I don't regret it either. I called Marcus, my voice shaking so hard I could barely speak. Get your mother on the phone, right now, and put me on speaker. When Patricia's voice came through, still sleep-soft and innocent, I felt rage I'd never experienced before. Did you cancel my wedding venue? I asked, ice-cold calm. The pause was everything, just 2 seconds too long. Rachel, honey, what are you talking about? I would never... Stop lying, I said. I have the phone records. It was your number. What did you do, Patricia? Just the venue, or was it everything? And then she said something I will never forget. You were never good enough for my son. Her voice transformed, losing all its sweetness. I gave you chances to walk away, to realize you didn't belong in our family. But you just kept pushing, kept planning this ridiculous wedding like you were some princess. So yes, I made some calls. I thought if enough things went wrong, you'd finally see that this marriage was a mistake. That Marcus deserves better than some desperate girl who trapped him. Marcus lost it. I could hear him screaming in the background, words I'd never heard him use before. I hung up. My hands were shaking so badly my phone clattered to the floor. Jessica was staring at me, tears streaming down her face. Oh my God, Rach, what are we going to do? Here's what I did, and what I did next. Most people told me I'd gone too far. I called every single vendor back. I explained what happened. Not all the details, just that there had been malicious interference, that I had proof, and that I was begging them to honor our original agreements. My desperation must have been convincing, because every single one of them came through. The venue manager, once she understood what had really happened, was furious on my behalf. She made calls, pulled strings, and by some miracle, confirmed that we could still have our reception there. My wedding happened. It was 6 hours late, started at 8 p.m. instead of 2 p.m., and we served pizza instead of the catered meal that couldn't be recovered in time. But it happened. We got married by candlelight in that venue, surrounded by everyone who loved us, and it was the most beautiful, chaotic night of my life. Patricia did not attend. Marcus uninvited her that morning in a phone call I didn't hear, but that apparently involved words like unforgivable in therapy and don't contact us. We didn't speak to her for 8 months. No calls, no visits, no holidays. Marcus was devastated but resolute. She tried to destroy the most important day of our lives, he kept saying. I can't just forgive that. Eventually, Patricia sent a letter. Not an email, not a text, an actual handwritten letter. It was 12 pages long. She didn't make excuses, didn't blame stress or grief or anything else. She admitted everything. The cancellations, the vendor interference, the deliberate sabotage. She wrote about her fear of losing Marcus, of becoming irrelevant in his life, of being replaced. She wrote about therapy she'd started, about work she was doing to understand why she'd acted so cruelly. I ruined what should have been your most joyful memory, she wrote, and I will spend the rest of my life regretting it. I don't expect forgiveness. I just needed you to know that I see what I did, and I am truly, devastatingly sorry. Marcus and I talked for weeks about whether to respond. Ultimately, we decided on limited contact, supervised and with clear boundaries. It's been 2 years now, and Patricia and I have something like a relationship. It's not warm. It's not what I imagined. But she's done the work, respected every boundary, and never once made an excuse. Last month, she asked if she could throw us a belated reception. Her treat, her planning, her way of trying to give us the celebration she stole. We said yes, but with one condition. Jessica approves every vendor, every detail, every phone call. Patricia agreed without hesitation. If you're dealing with someone who's trying to sabotage your happiness, please hear me. You're not crazy. Trust your gut, document everything, and know that you don't owe anyone access to your life, even if they're family, especially if they're family. My marriage survived because Marcus chose me over his mother's toxicity. Not every partner will do that, and that's okay. It just means they weren't your person. If this story resonated with you, subscribe. I share a new story every single week, and drop a comment below if you've ever been betrayed by someone you completely trusted. You are not alone, and you will get through this.